Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're digging into a seriously fascinating story. We're looking at how science is taking what we literally used to call agricultural garbage and transforming it into highly advanced regenerative medicine for our skin. If you've ever dealt with skincare that just sort of sits there on the surface, or if you're just really into the cutting edge of bioengineering, well, you're absolutely in the right place. Let's get into it.
So, to kick things off, I want you to completely rethink how you view the aromas of the natural world. Think about the last time you crushed a pine needle, or maybe smelled a hemp plant, and you got hit with that incredibly sharp, distinct scent, right? For decades, we just wrote those off as, pleasant little evolutionary byproducts. But what if they aren't just smells? What if you were actually sniffing a highly sophisticated biochemical language?
Those aromatic molecules are called terpenes. Now, we used to think these were simply perfumes, kind of just there to attract pollinators or maybe fend off a bug or two, but modern molecular biology has completely flipped the script. Terpenes are actually the plant's highly intelligent defense mechanism. They're these volatile command centers that orchestrate survival in some incredibly extreme environments. They are literally a plant's chemical rapid response system. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, plant language. Then, the 2026 breakthrough. Next up, biomimicry. After that, molecular shields. Then we'll cover active biodefense. And finally, future dermatology. Let's jump in. Section 1. Plant language. Biochemical command centers. Let's look at how hemp plants, specifically, use over 200 unique terpenes as this massive biochemical communication network. It's wild to think about, but these terpenes essentially act as a nervous system, just without the neurons. When a hemp plant gets attacked by a pest, it releases specific terpenes into the air. Why? To literally warn the plants next door to mount their defenses. They also regulate water evaporation during a drought, act as a heavy-duty antioxidant shield against UV radiation, and provide incredible antimicrobial defense. They are actively, continuously orchestrating the plant's survival. Section 2, 2026 Breakthrough. Gold from waste. Let's see how all this plant biology translates into a massive technological and environmental breakthrough.
Historically, extracting these delicate terpene molecules was an absolute nightmare. The old methods, like steam distillation or supercritical CO2, were expensive. They sucked up tons of energy, and worse, they often destroyed the exact fragile molecules we were trying to save. Plus, the hemp industry was churning out hundreds of thousands of tons of botanical waste, stalks, leaves, stems, that were literally just burned or buried. But the new SMEK extraction method completely changed the game. This cryogenic selective microwave process now isolates these terpenes from that exact industrial waste at an astonishing 97% purity. And it does this while slashing energy costs by 73%. Mind-blowing, right?
So we've completely shifted the entire industry paradigm here. We went from this linear, highly wasteful model to a beautiful, zero-waste circular economy. We grow the hemp for industrial fiber, take the leftover trash, extract pure, super valuable terpenes from it, and turn that into advanced regenerative medicine. We've quite literally turned agricultural waste into liquid gold. Moving on to Section 3, Biomimicry, a second skin for humans. This is where things get really cool. Taking nature's 400 million-year-old defense playbook and applying it directly to our own skin. The reason these hemp terpenes work so like magic on human skin comes down to structural matching. Their molecular architecture mirrors our own natural lipid barrier almost flawlessly. Where our skin uses fatty acids to block water from evaporating, hemp uses monoterpenes. Where we rely on cholesterol to keep our cells flexible, hemp uses sesquiterpenes. Because of this exact structural match, when you apply these terpenes, they don't just sit there on top of your face. Your body actually recognizes them. They integrate straight into your lipid matrix, genuinely acting like a second skin. And the absolute star of the show here is a terpene called myrcene. Think of myrcene as a cellular key. It safely wedges itself right between the cholesterol and fatty acid molecules of your skin, temporarily making that lipid matrix more fluid. It's a bioenhancer. It safely unlocks cellular channels so that all those vital nutrients, antioxidants, and water can penetrate deep down into the dermis. We're talking about increasing cellular permeability by up to 60%, all without causing a single bit of damage to your natural barrier. Section 4. Molecular shield, limonene and pinene synergy. Let's dive into the powerful oxidative shield that forms when two very specific terpenes team up,
Because, nature rarely relies on just one molecule to get the job done.
You've got to appreciate the contrast between these two powerhouses. First, you have limonene, which gives off that classic citrus smell. It acts as this incredible surface cleaner, dissolving heavy metals, microplastics, and everyday modern pollutants. It even triggers a specific pathway in your cells to produce their own antioxidants. Then you have pinene, which smells exactly like a fresh pine forest. Pinene uses those channels opened up by myrcene to dive deep into the dermis. Down there, it acts like a deep tissue firefighter, stopping inflammation right at the source and actually stimulating your cells to create brand new collagen.
Put them together, and limonene and pinene form what researchers call an oxidative shield. And let me tell you, the lab results are stunning. Clinical trials show that this specific synergy accelerates cellular turnover by 41%. It essentially forces your skin cells to divide and regenerate at the same speed they did when you were 20 years old. That's a real game changer.
Section 5, active biodefense versus passive moisturizing. This concept completely shatters the old passive way we think about skincare, officially moving us into the era of active biodefense. You see, traditional skincare is entirely passive. You slather a cream on, it traps whatever moisture is already there for maybe 4 to 8 hours, and the second you wash your face, boom, you're back to square one. Active biodefense, using these plant terpenes, actively forces your body's cellular machinery to synthesize new ceramides and cholesterol. The metrics are wild. It drops inflammation by up to 60% and slashes oxidative stress by up to 70%. You aren't just moisturizing anymore, you are actively repairing the machine that holds the moisture.
If we map this out over time, it's pretty incredible. In the first week, myrcene penetrates and stops chronic dehydration by physically plugging the gaps in your skin's barrier. Fast forward to days 7 through 21, and these molecules are actually stimulating your DNA to start producing new lipids and collagen. And by day 60, you aren't just wearing a moisturizer. Your skin is fully reconstructed a self-sustaining lipid barrier all on its own.
And the medical community is absolutely taking note of this. By stopping chronic dehydration and inflammation at the cellular level, these biomimetic topicals are delivering some truly astonishing clinical results. We're talking an 80% drop in severe itching for atopic dermatitis, a 70% reduction in psoriasis plaque severity, and even a massive 50% reduction in the thickness of post-surgical hypertrophic scars. These aren't just cosmetic beauty stats, right? These are genuinely life-changing medical outcomes.
Section 6. The future, personalized DNA dermatology. For our final section, let's look at exactly where this incredible botanical alchemy is heading next. Because really, we are just scratching the surface here.
In the very near future, artificial intelligence is going to analyze a simple swab of your skin to map out your completely unique biological profile. It's going to look at your exact genetic predispositions, the specific bacteria hanging out in your skin microbiome, your unique lipid profile, and your baseline inflammatory status.
What this means for you is that dermatology is finally going to shift away from this blind, one-size-fits-all guesswork. We're moving to highly targeted, bioadaptive formulas. So if the AI detects a specific gene mutation that makes you prone to dryness, your personal terpene formula will be weighted with more pinene. If your skin barrier is unusually dense, it's going to dial up the myrcene to ensure those nutrients actually get through. It will match your exact cellular metabolism perfectly.
There's a great quote that says, "Nature has already solved the problems we're trying to fix. We're just finally learning how to listen." And that really hits the nail on the head for this entire explainer. We aren't really inventing new cures in a lab. The complex, highly evolved chemistry needed to protect and regenerate living tissue already exists out there. We are just finally learning how to translate the molecular wisdom that these plants have honed over hundreds of millions of years of evolution.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought to ponder. If we found all of this incredible regenerative healing power locked inside discarded, forgotten hemp stalks, what else is waiting to be discovered in the things we simply throw away every single day? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning what's possible.